type of tube worm which live at the East Pacific Rise, I think. And they live in these sort of papery tubes that stick to the burrows of the chimney, the sides of the chimney, sorry, which we're seeing right now. But hot water from inside of the vent flushes through their tubes and flows into them, of course, mixes with the much colder water outside. And basically that results in a really strange temperature gradient where the tails of these worms end up in much, much hotter water than sort of the feeding appendages, which are by the tube's outer entrance.
Okay, come on out, Roland.
So basically these worms simultaneously inhabit both extremes, sort of a colder area and a warmer area.
Looking straight down
and
on
it's
you.
thought that the inside of the tubes are about 14, 15 degrees centigrade. And Tara Harmalouk, one of the scientists on shore, has said that she's actually been on a cruise where they sampled some of these alvanellid tube worms. And she said, fun fact is that when they come up, they're really slimy and mucousy, which I think quite interesting, which is not what I would have imagined at all.
No, I mean, it's not what I've seen in tube worms that we brought up on the Wanapuka, but I don't, they're not or alvanellid worms either. So these guys are sessile, right? They can't move? Like, they can't pick up their tube and walk away somewhere else, right?
No, they are there for life.
Right, and so that means that if the chimney has, like, a breakout of hot fluid right near them, they're in deep trouble. So when there's a breakout, and you see a lot of these, right? You can see tons of little pieces of separate black smoke or orifices. If one of those opens up next to the paralvenelids, there is a problem.
Right on the sonar,
because
or is
the
that
shrimp can
under
get
my
away,
control?
and the crabs can get away, and the snails can get away,
here.
and the tube worms.
It's at 80. I didn't see anything.
Should be just on the verge, I would think.
So our ship has changed heading too since this morning. Is that offset that any contribution of the offset of ours might have shifted? Do you know when they changed heading?
Herrera has said these paraphenelids are likely
I do have a note.
Hesselrai.
They actually shifted heading without telling me, I believe.
Bob Hessler.
But that shouldn't matter. It's all the question of where the vehicles are.
And if I remember reading correctly, early in our event log, I think there are two people who are graduate students
from the USBO, so they would have, if it changed heading,
I believe so.
The offset could be different, but it's
shore-based scientist. I'm pretty sure I read that.
Wouldn't be in a systematic way.
Did you say grad students of Dr. Hessler?
That was my understanding.
But then so the offset might have shifted from being more south to more
Yes, we have Scott France on the event
west,
logger, and we have Lauren Molyneux here in Whitpool.
Thanks. Isn't that awesome? So
good question. I don't
they're getting
know.
to hang out with some namesakes of their graduate advisor.
I don't think we can know because the offset isn't 100% due to ship's heading, right? Or
do me a favor. And,
no, but probably a large part is.
Along the waypoint 2, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. I put my lat long in the event log, and just want to make sure it's the same one because that chimney complex we just passed, I would think would have been what
waypoint 2.
Waypoint 2 should have been.
Yeah. I don't.
We shouldn't go back.
Okay.
I just want to make sure we got flat longs the same.
Can you actually send it to me
So
via
we're
email
going,
because I don't see it in the event log?
140.
Or did you already send it to me via
my
email?
heading.
Yep, I'm
just exploring.
I'll
I'm going
send
to
you
do
my
a
whole table.
mogul on.
Okay, thank you.
so the ship has come to a halt.
All right.
And so Mike Perfit, who's a geologist at the University of Florida, who happens to be my undergrad advisor, was following along with part of our dive last night. And today he said, maybe these aren't quite as exciting as a field of pillow lavas, but they're coming pretty close.
So as you guys
Quick zoom here, Roland.
Okay. Just about to say, as you guys zoom over here, we did image a few fish this morning. So they probably only want some snaps at this point.
Okay, pilot, I'm looking straight back.
So we've got quite a big Ophidiid
I can only
hanging around
hang
out
here for a second.
Yep, lasers
so
if
a
you
lot
got
of
them.
fish that you find at hydrothermal vents tend to stick on the peripheral areas and sort of pick off any fauna that may wander off.
Sorry, I couldn't
into more vulnerable areas.
spend more time there, watch leads.
Let's get you out ahead and then find the next mound.
another fish down there.
There's a crinoid on the bottom left. You should keep an eye out for those. We have not imaged those today. Or starfish.
Fortunately, I have to push ahead because I'm getting behind.
Hey, Nav.
Yep.
Could I get your read on... Could I provide waypoint 2 to you to make sure that it's the same waypoint 2 that we... Like, to make sure that we're all on the same page?
Yeah, are you wanting to give me a lat long, or?
Hey, come on in, Roland.
Yeah, I can either do it in decimal degrees, or I can do it in, like, you know, what is it, minute degrees.
Yeah, let me see what I have here. Decimal minutes is going to be easiest for me, but hang on a second. Let me.
I'm 100% sure that's the right waypoint. It's the only other mound on the bathymetry. It's just covered up now by our tracks.
So were we already at waypoint 2? I think that's the question.
Do you see? Actually, do you see the waypoint I just brought up? The target parameters.
No. What am I looking at?
The box.
On the box on the high-back screen.
Oh, yeah. Now I can see the box. Sorry, I was looking at the bathymetry.
That's at least roughly where I've got. Where I show this waypoint. Actually, I could probably bring up the real thing.
Quieter and quieter, Roland. Okay. It's still very
low.
So
I think Scott France is actually on the line, and he's going to entertain us with some musings on hydrothermal vent biology. Scott, you there?
I am here, Diva. Entertained. That's setting me up a little bit.
The floor is yours.
Earlier, you were making some comments on the different biogeographic regions of these hydrothermal. So I thought one interesting to make was that indeed different parts of the ocean, different parts of the world, we see different dominant fauna of the animals that are specialized to use these hydrothermal vents. And one of the interesting aspects of that is what it means is if you think about evolution and where these animals originally came from,
do you want to look,
it means
pop
that
up a little and look 140
part of the
and I'll
world
reach
that
you
has
out.
these hydrothermal vent systems is independently acquiring and evolving a community. Basically, it means that the animals that were living in the deep sea regionally, locally, are taking advantage of the opportunity for all the food that's being generated by these bacteria. But in order to do so, they have to overcome some of the challenges that face them living at these vents.
20 meters.
We're seeing this hot water that's being ejected from below the crust. And there are a lot of toxic chemicals that are in that water, toxic to some of these animals. So in order to live there, they have to have certain adaptations that allow them to deal with it in one way or another.
They tilted inboard right now.
It's interesting to think that essentially you've had this
I'm getting a ton of glare
this evolutionary convergence, different ways to deal with the toxic compounds in order to take advantage of the massive amounts of food that are being produced by the bacteria that are using the hot water and the reduced chemicals that are in that hot water. And that tells you a little bit about how little food there is in general in the deep sea.
Starboard lower right.
How organisms that can take advantage, and when I say can take advantage, I mean they're lucky enough that they have the genes such that they can be selected for. It's not like they chose to live there. They have the appropriate mutations and genes, and then have come to develop over millions of years into the communities that we see and look different from place to place. So I'm not sure
We're still 20 meters from a lot of it, right?
But that was the point that I was speaking about earlier.
There's something much bigger beyond it.
That was perfect, Scott. Thank you so much. And please feel free to call in at any point during the dive and, do that all over again.
You got to tilt up?
Yeah, sorry.
This is distracted.
Watch lead looking in the...
Look, there's another chimney.
Turning my head up.
Yep, Bill, we are all on it too. We are all very excited already.
System. It looks like my gain is average across the board.
I don't think it's your gain. I just think you're...
I go like right at my mouth and I'm talking the same level I do every day.
We were just in the process of figuring that out when this came up on the screen.
Check there's gain settings for not only your station to hear me.
I would tend to agree with you on that.
Waypoint 3 we're coming up on.
I will ask, but that tends to be what I would say as well.
Wow, look,
And so
look at this.
as we've traversed over from
like
chimney 1 to what we think is going to be chimney
drop-off.
2, you can see how quickly or chimney 3 rather, you can
Coming
see
up.
that how quickly the fauna
your
has
way.
dropped off in abundance. We sort of ended up in just an area that was basically just rocks and a couple of spot lobsters, and now as we're approaching this other chimney here, you can see
it is big
the
smoker.
abundances are increasing again, and that's because there's not a lot of hydrothermal fluid, it seems, between the two chimneys, and that's what the ecosystems run on here.
Yeah. And I'll also mention, I think, Bob Embley and Bill Chad were talking earlier about
Since those look
how
darker,
these were
those are probably
built
hotter.
on old extinct sulfides, and you can really see that very clearly on this one. There's a mound
Okay, so
of old extinct
I guess
sulfides.
we should bump me closer.
And sitting on top of it is this little resurgent set of chimneys.
Okay.
These
We're
look-
probably
they-
holding
these
still at
look
this
sort
point,
of
right?
young to me. I'm not sure that they
yeah,
are. I mean, I have no
haven't
idea.
moved in a long time here.
That is
So
a
you're
huge,
looking-
nice
That
piece
is-
of black
look at how-
smoke, though.
I mean, huge pool of black
06.
smoke, and look how beautiful
But if we want to
thin
end up
this
a little north of
spire
it, I
shooting
guess
off
I
it.
could
It's like
move
a
like
castle.
So that's why I feel like, to me, it looks young because it's
045
like
maybe?
mostly white, it's
Okay.
mostly
045, and how
yeah.
far do you want to go?
But I could be completely wrong.
Carl,
You're
can you,
stretched out.
And often am.
can you pick a
And I just want to
direction
say
to
that
get
I've been,
you
you can follow
facing
along.
away from the
I'm on
smoke?
Facebook, you can follow
Yeah,
along on
that's
Twitter,
what
you
we're
can
doing.
follow us
Okay.
live, which I'm sure a lot
Oh,
of
it doesn't
viewers
seem to be
know because
blowing
they're
very
currently
much here.
watching. But on Twitter, it's really interesting because
I don't know,
loads of
you're
viewers
stretched
have
out,
been
I guess,
sending in
1.5
pictures of
meters.
themselves where they're watching.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so there are people having dinner,
think
there are
that's
people
enough,
having
pilot?
beer, there are people in their hammock, in their garden. It's just
if
really
we're going up
interesting
the
to
side
see
like that, I think
how
we'd
many
go a
people
little
from
farther
around
even.
the world are
Maybe
joining
2-0
and what they're doing and where they're watching from.
And we won't lie,
Sounds
we're
good.
a little bit jealous of the people
Right,
that are
check all that
having
in.
beer and wine with their dinners tonight. This is a dry
Bridge
ship,
nav.
and we take that very seriously.
I'd like to get a move, please.
But,
20
we-
meters,
we're
bearing
very jealous of your
045, decimal 2
Look at
knots.
those nice big pieces of extinct sulfide.
I mean,
just drops
compared to what
off.
was sitting next to it.
Perfect,
Next
thank
to
you.
the wine?
No, no, next to the sulfide.
I can be appreciative of both.
So, Diva, there's a snail characteristic of this area that
Thank you,
usually is
Rich.
found near the base of chimneys, not in the high temperature flow, and maybe not even in diffuse flow, but it's called Thymorhynchus, and our eye on these white kind of dots that I'm seeing in the video. I'm trying to figure out if any of these are going to be snails and not all squat lobsters as we've been seeing more frequently.
So,
Are you
Stace,
losing
they're
visual there?
white. Are they round? Are they pointy? You're going to have to shout out if you
Oh, I
if you
see.
see
Wow.
them.
Tyler, are we going to be able to image this one? Can we get
Absolutely.
close enough
We're waiting for the ship to move closer.
As soon
Great.
as we get a little closer, Stace, I'm going to get them to zoom on a couple of them for us. But please, as soon as you notice any of the
So I'm not
Thymorhynchus,
sure about
please
the
shout it
offset
out
on this.
because
We're
I'm
kind
not
of
quite sure I
between
know what they look
points
like.
2 and 3.
I know, it's
Yeah, we were surprised not to see
Bit of a
any at
dilemma.
the first chimney. I thought I might have seen one, but I just wasn't
And
sure.
how far
Also,
from
this
4
particular
are we, where you
run
are
up
now?
to this chimney, I'm surprised we're not seeing the anemones as abundant as we saw before at the other chimney.
I was just trying
Guys,
to...
can we do
So
a
Stacey
zoom
said
of
they
the
live
stuff
at the
down below the
base,
white ones
sometimes
just to
not
see
in
if there's any
fluid. So
anemones?
what does their diet subsist of?
The Thymorhynchus, as far as I know, they tend to be scavengers,
So what were you wondering
kind of voracious
about?
snails.
I was just wondering, you can see the ships
how
right on
exciting.
top of 4.
Right.
When those are
Just
two
wondering how
words you
far
don't
west
usually
of
hear
4 are
together,
we?
voracious and snails.
For
Voracious,
safety
voracious
2.
snails that are scavengers.
Are they
Well, if the
herbivores?
ship's on top
or
of it,
No, scavengers.
D2
They
is
still eat anything.
50, 60
Hey,
meters
not a biologist.
west
Sorry,
of us.
yeah.
Because that was our offset yesterday when the
schooling me
ship
over
was
here.
heading east, right? It was 50 meters to the
Can you
west.
come down a little bit, Carl?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we might have just, if that's true, we might have just found 4.
right. Now, I need to...
Oh, we
Yeah,
don't
like
think we
something
see
rolling.
any Thymorhynchus.
No,
We
we were
need
just
to be
talking
thinking
about
about this as we,
lobsters.
So
as we let the ship
So
turn.
they're quite big then, Stace.
Incredible black billow oak.
yeah, so we're just moving in on this chimney, and pilots
came
will
down.
probably want to do the same thing, which is image up and down the chimney. We'll want to try to get a height for it at the top, and then we'll try to sort of wrap around and see what else there is to be seen.
Yeah, copy that watch lead.
Thank you.
Heading up.
Oh, this is
Can we
so
tilt up
cool.
on Sirius's view?
Raise your hand if you're having a good time. Woo! Yeah, see, even the front row is raising their
zoom in
hand.
on Sirius.
I'll be moving closer and set up soon if you want to get some nice shots.
That's what it looks like to me.
Smoke's not coming out of tube, you know, a regular orifice. It seems to have a horizontal crack.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like it busted out of the side. I would agree with you, Bill.
Your swing arm turn, except port is slightly out.
And that's fairly typical, right? We often see that where you have a fracture or a crack and it just, the fluid will exploit that crack. Something just went flying by. I think it was a polyheat. I could be wrong.
I think it was a chunk.
By. Like, you know, wafting by in the view.
So then does the ship stop? What's going on with the ship?
I believe we're stopped. Let me ask. So now?
Yep.
So are we stopped and are we in place?
We just moved the ship toward the, to try to position Sirius better.
Okay, but then we're gonna try to stay here for a little bit. Yes.
Stay here as long as you want.
Okay. So do we know if we're at waypoint 2 or waypoint 3?
We're a little confused right now.
Okay. All right. So some updates from our navigator. The ship is moving a little bit, but that's only so that we can move Sirius into a better position so that we can continue to get some great imagery and look around this particular area. The ship is the ROV team's a little bit confused as to whether we're at waypoint 2 or waypoint 3. I think I might be tending to agree with Bill a little bit that waypoint 2 may have been that field of little tiny stringy fingers.
I cannot see.
And that
where
maybe
the top
we're
of this
moving
guy
on to
is.
waypoint 3.
Yeah,
We don't necessarily know.
Yeah.
Pilots, that's a lot of black smoke.
Why not? I mean,
Get rid of it, please.
look at the lat long.
Yeah, we're
want
trying
me
to do that.
to
It's just
zoom in? I
trying
can
to do
try
that
to
while
filter
everything else
through
is
the
going on,
smoke.
Bill, is a little bit hard.
I think that's about the top.
Thank you, Bridge.
If I were to wager a bet. I don't see my dots hitting anything anymore. My lasers. So that's about 13 meters.
Great, so we're looking at
If
a
you want me to zoom
13-meter
in, I
chimney.
think I can filter some of it
And for
out.
those of you who are poo-pooing
Yeah,
the fact
that's
that it's
the
only a
top right
13-meter chimney, because we saw a 30-meter chimney
Look at your
earlier,
temp probe from the
I would
time
like
in
to
the
remind you
past.
we're looking at
Yeah.
active
Is
hydrothermal
that from
venting.
the-
We like them
That's from the field.
Flow?
regardless.
Yeah,
What do they get
it's
up to?
only degree change.
Pilot, isn't that still it in your sonar?
That's that is 7 meters away, whatever that is.
So I think it is still going up. I just saw a cloud
So
move.
again, you can see a lot of these very thin, sort of finger-like protrusions coming off of the chimney.
Somehow that seems more normal on a larger chimney structure than it did just growing out of the ground that we saw before. To me, I could be
Coming
wrong.
up with you.
Wrong.
Yeah, I don't see any more up here.
So that's 14 meters tall.
14,
15.
14, 15 meters.
Excellent. So this chimney is 14 to 15 meters tall. We're having a little bit
Just a little
of
baby
a hard
compared
time
to the
just
other one.
finding the top of it because it's
Still
covered
hidden
in black
behind the
smoke.
smoke. I saw it. What you can't see now is a white one higher than what we're currently looking at with the lasers. Smoke is about to blow past it again. See it revealing down towards the bottom.
I'm not seeing anything here, Roland.
No, not up that high. It was only like another maybe meter or so from what you were visibly able
I
to
think
see.
we're distinctly seeing the top of it now.
See it revealing now behind the clouds.
Alright, so you're kind of similar as we surveyed the last one, looking to the northwest of it, looking southeast. Smoke's kind of going away.
Hey, come on in, Roland.
Wow.
Yeah, hold that.
So we see shrimp, right?
Yep. So we can definitely see more of the Chorocara shrimp.
Look at those little fingers protruding out from just the sides of the chimneys. This is amazing. Oh, sorry. Talk about shrimp.
No. I was just going to say we can see shrimp as well as
there's a crab.
See some more behind it. Also covered up by the dark.
And again, it's the same sort of zonation we saw at the last event, where in the most high temperature areas you get the shrimp and the crabs.
Yeah, that looks like a little beehive right in the center.
Oh yeah, a beautiful little beehive.
Yeah. Little beehives.
Come on in, Roland.
Maxim.
So the beehives, I believe, generally tend to be a site of pretty fresh venting.
Yeah, you come out partial.
I believe you.
So, the shore-based science side's been a little quiet lately. Does anyone want to tell us anything interesting about what we're looking at? Anyone want to take the bait?
Coming down with you.
No one wanted to take the bait on telling a little bit about what we might be seeing here.
Can we do a comms check with shoreside? You guys know?
Yeah, we can hear you.
They're just ignoring me, Roland. That's what's happening. I think we're all just enjoying the view right now. So for those of you watching at home, I don't know if we've said this anytime recently, but we're here at the Marianas Back Arc Spreading Center. We're at about 17 degrees north, and this was an area that was surveyed last November, December, with a photo survey and a sensor survey that could take chemical and particulate signals very close to the seafloor, and they used an autonomous vehicle to do this. And they came up with several different places where they found these chemical anomalies, particle anomalies, and also they had some visuals off the seafloor in a survey. And we're now on the way to basically try to investigate some of these areas where we thought there would be chimneys. And if you're looking at the screen, we found them. So the first chimney that we visited today was 30 meters high.
So go find it when they get you close. So one of the things we haven't done on this image yet,
after we finished imaging it, zooming in, we actually did a temperature probe, and it was about 340 degrees
the ROV in the vent.
And then we decided to move on, and we went through a small patch of little tiny chimneys growing straight out of the ground, some black smoke sort of like diffusively venting out, and areas of diffuse flow and bacterial mat. And then we encountered this next chimney. And that's what we're doing now, is just imaging this chimney, taking a look around, seeing how tall it is. It was 14 to 15 meters high. And we're going to continue to look for the biology that can be found on this chimney, as well as the amazing geological structures that, that these black smokers can form.
So, Deb, this is Bill. I'm thinking ahead.
Mm-hmm. Please do.
I think I would like, my goal for the dive is to get to waypoint 6, which is the weird-looking cone by the end. And so I think it's kind of important that we confirm that our waypoints are the same. So I would like to hear that your numbers are the same as mine. And then
I looked immediately below lasers, where the big crab is, immediately to the right.
This is probably just waypoint 3.
That grayish area.
Okay, you want to zoom?
Yeah, that may be all those pods that they were looking for.
Yeah, these things.
Or limpids, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go check with Nav about our waypoints to make sure that they're accurate. But while I do that, I would appreciate it if the other hydrothermal vent scientists and other scientists, any other scientists that are on the line, discuss what might be the best options. Oh, look at that cute little... Is that a polychaete? What is that?
So that's a polychaete, a polynoid scaleworm, and you can see all of his perfect little scales. Then you can also see the hairy Alvinaconcha grasslii above. Was it grasslii? Yes.
So looking at that guy in the snails above.
I see the hair.
Yeah, yay! Now we can see the hairiness.
Which one are we looking at that's hairy? Oh, the crab over on the
They're
right?
not the crabs, the snails.
The snails and
that I was teasing you about before.
polychaete.
Yeah, so Scott, go for it.
Yeah.
Just let loose on that
I
hairiness.
see that
Now
snail.
the red strip they'll key in on.
Yeah, well, so I just thought that some listeners might like to know what is it that makes these snails, quote, hairy.
Now going to get the
And if
smoker.
you think about snails that you pick up on the beach or in shallow water, you know, they have a hard shell.
Oh, okay, waypoint 2 I've got up right now on the screen.
Outer layer of shell where the color is,
that should
you'll see
be
that it may flake off.
the
That's something called
position that he gave us for waypoint 2.
Very close
more
to it.
protein-based instead of the
No, I'm actually sitting on the ground.
How close is it
part
on
of
the...
that shell.
That's
And
close.
so the hairiness is actually the periostracum.
I'm not hearing you.
Well, we're at the base of the spire
rows is
here.
kind of curled up
If you look
like
at
these
my
little spines. So
minute
you have
cams.
these long rows of spines that sort of encircle the shell as it's
God,
growing.
what a great
so they
view.
look kind of like hairs. And as I recall, early on when they were first discovered, there was some suggestion that maybe
So is
those hairs were
Easting with
capturing or
668?
finding up bacteria. And
Okay, video, I think whenever you're ready, I'll take off and look around for more stuff.
Okay, let's get a few more minutes, a few more seconds of these red shrimp.
Okay.
But it was later discovered that the snails, peeled back that first layer of shell, actually have these massive gills in there.
If you want to get a zoom on cereals, you can go ahead and do that too.
Hydrothermal
Video.
tube worm you were talking about earlier from
Alright, let me adjust my heading a little bit.
See at the Pacific Rise and the Galapagos Ridge.
Okay,
Those
pulling
giant
ROV
tube
out.
worms are all bacteria, and you can see they're very red, the part that sticks out of the tube, and that part is red because of hemoglobin that they have. And the hemoglobin is special in that it can carry sulfide, which is a chemical that's in the water here, and they can transfer it to bacteria that they have inside their body, and the bacteria then use that sulfide to generate food that the worms benefit from. Well, this is actually doing something analogous to that, where it's got these very enlarged gills and has a bacteria packed in there, and it can transfer.
When you've got the shot video, would you full wide again?
To the bacteria.
Thank you.
Both cameras are full wide. Look, it's raining shrimp.
Yeah, when I backed away, my thruster wash went in there.
All those little shrimp.
Oh, what happened?
I think we may have thrust them off.
Oh,
Yeah, I just...
they'll find their way back.
They
it's
will.
Fine.
But they're so cold now.
Yes, they will. Yeah,
So,
they're just a little cold.
watch lead, I got some zooms at the bottom. What else on this spire would you like to see before we move on to the next?
I think I'm satisfied. I think we can keep moving.
I mean, I think if we can, as soon as we can move, the better.
Video
but
would like
if we
to see.
have to kill time, I'm sure there's lots of other biology we can look at.
Okay.
But we'd like to just keep moving, I think.
Yeah, just do a survey of all the
Yeah, I'm not sure
spires.
if you heard what we
Can video
I think
see
what we're
the dark
at the
smoker
moment
at the
most
bottom?
interested in is getting to waypoint 6, not without stopping, but
Yeah.
by the end of the dive, we'd like to attempt to
Sure.
reach waypoint 6.
Yeah, I heard that conversation. I think the easiest way to reset the waypoints is we're going to find that giant bowl in the middle. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we don't necessarily want to skip
Sorry,
every piece along the way.
Dive lead can sorry, I lost track. The 638 ended up bringing in 638. Was that the east or north?
Carl, the best image of this would be sort of down looking up at the smoker.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
How we do in Copilot?
Okay, so for waypoint 2,
Yeah.
it was
Looks good.
144.52, 01.668.
Good. Yep. Okay. And then the 40.432.
Ready?
Yeah, 40.422.
422, sorry. Okay.
And we just want to see how that's plotting against the waypoint 2 that you have.
Right. I think it's like 5 meters.
Coming up a little for you,
So-
video?
Just tilt up. No
check all the
rise,
other
just
numbers
tilt.
too.
I think because these are put in, I don't know.
Will do,
I don't know
Bill.
why this is exactly right, but
Oh my God, look at that smoke just like pouring out of there.
It's amazing.
And
you
of
can
course,
see that it's clayed just as it comes
yeah.
out.
That's what I was just going to say. I wanted to remind the people at
A
home
little
that
bit
it's
more
not actually
tilt
like
up.
smoke.
Yeah.
It's
And a little
particulate
bit
filled
left.
fluid.
Exactly.
And it's very turbulent, I believe.
Perfect.
I don't think we have any physical oceanographers on to disagree with me. So I'll say
Oh, that's definitely turbulence. A long time ago, I did a master's thesis on turbulence.
excellent.
Wow.
And what's
Kept that
happening?
one quiet.
Yeah, and what's happening
Coming
is
back
that
up.
the clear, super hot fluid is actually entraining seawater.
Okay, if you just want to float up, then I'll pull out.
Okay. Rising with it.
So we're just getting a full
Now,
screen
can we
of
check
smoke.
Some of the other points as well.
yeah, the difference between the two is about 5 or 6 meters.
Okay. All right. So
Pulling out.
Bill,
Okay.
And you
when
can
we've
move
just
on.
checked waypoint 2, and the only difference between them was about 5 meters. So that one's pretty much spot on. I'll check the rest with Nav.
All
As soon as
right.
we
I
can.
muted everyone
Yeah, no-
except you, Copilot.
Yeah, actually, I think our
Nav, can you unlatch me? For pilot?
Yeah, Bob, Bill just put down for
Sorry,
a minute.
yes.
Did you
Oh.
say that we're at waypoint 2?
All right.
No, I'm not saying we're at waypoint 2. What I was saying was that when we checked the numbers for
Yeah,
waypoint 2,
I was dealing with that.
we
We're
were
just
Way too much.
close
we're
enough
just moving
that
this direction,
it-
looking
it
at
is pretty
smokers.
accurate, at least on the screen.
Okay. So
yeah, our problem is
Okay,
uncertainty about our offsets.
if we're moving
And
on,
the ship's
We'll
the
want to
ship
stay north
turned
of
since we first
everything.
got down, and so the original
you're not
offsets we
very
were
far north of
calculating
this
were
one, are you?
probably probably been
So we'll actually
shifted,
have
but
to
we
do
haven't
that
figured out how
first.
much by or what direction.
Yeah, right now
So I think
I would head south. Like I'm basically in the smoke right now.
or you mean you would head
North.
north? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so the smoke must come up, go down, and then back at you or something. Or maybe there's another smoker behind you.
It's possible.
How's your sonar looking? This one barely even shows up, huh?
Yeah, I don't even. I'm way above it right now.
Yeah. Well, so we should probably let's see. Yeah, so we should probably start moving you north, like 30 meters, and then I'll just keep an eye on this until I get maybe pulled off or maybe not, and then we can start heading east. Is that
Okay.
Yeah.
Wind nav is done. He's completely off comms right now. I think that might have been the smoke you sort of blasted. I think it sort of came up more and then came back at me. Or there's more smokers to the east,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm seeing is I'm going through that layer. So Nav, if we're going to continue east, I think we have to scoot north a little bit so that I don't go through.
It's not clear to me whether we want to move anytime
for
soon,
those
but
of
we
you who are
certainly
in the
could
event
get
log
more
who
better
you're
positioned
not
to
hearing
do
anybody right
that
now,
eventually.
That was because Diva
Yeah,
stepped out for a
I
minute,
think we
and
can
I was
start
having
getting
a
in-
deep, intense
getting in
conference
position.
with our navigator, and I didn't really think you wanted to hear it. So it's just been a little bit quiet, but can you hear me now?
So east
I like saying
is
that.
basically right over this
can hear
guy.
you now,
Right.
Dan.
So it makes sense to move north
Yeah, so we
10
were
meters
just,
at least.
A few of us were
Yeah,
off
10,
comms
15
for a few
meters.
minutes there while we're just trying to take
Without
care
disturbing
of
what we're doing.
a few navigational issues.
Well, they said they were done
or
here.
possibly eat lunch.
Oh,
I'm
I
not
didn't
really
think.
sure.
Yeah.
I don't think Deb caught that.
We were.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is a little offset in the Sears compass, which I think might have gotten us in a little trouble last time.
It looks like several people are having problems with video.
So I don't think she always goes exactly where we.
So do we want to go ahead and do a northerly shift
so
on the
I
ship?
will ask
Yeah, we go at least 20 or so.
The engineer to figure out.
Because I can.
Okay, if we're really getting out of here, yeah.
But either way, 20
People are
meters,
having
I can still
problems
keep contact with this thing.
Some of the video.
20
not all people,
bearing
not all
000.2.
problems. So here are the three things that I see, Roland.
Bridge nav.
One says video has become more choppy on I-1.
We'd like to move 20 meters, bearing 000, decimal 2 knots. Thank you.
Okay. Although there's a bunch of people who are also saying it's
Scott, I was just noting that the video seems to be stopping and jumping a little bit more than it was before.
Okay, that's on the I-1 feed, correct?
That is correct.
So
A
smoky.
little bit of pixelation as well.
Free.
Looks fine where I'm at.
Watch lead,
I'll
this nav.
refresh again to see if it improves.
So
Watch lead is nav.
Yep. Yes.
I'm actually very confident that this is waypoint 3.
Okay.
That's based on the fact that from the point we were working on waypoint 1 to this point is almost identical to the shift from waypoint 1 to waypoint 3.
Okay.
So.
All right. So shore-based scientists, this is the answer you have all been waiting for. We think we're at waypoint 3. So a small cheer for that. Yay, waypoint 3. So now that we've made it to waypoint 3, I think we have imaged this pretty well, at least this face. And I think that what
Ship
we'd like
is
to
moving.
do is to continue on to
The nice thing is
4.
we'll get to see the backside of it.
Unless there is
so we'll
a
just
large
get to keep
objection.
rotating to
Is there a hue
port.
and cry from the crowd?
Yeah. I mean, sliding to port, rotating starboard. Yeah.
There's like a crack right below you.
Yeah, should I look down it?
Yeah, if you can see it. I mean,
Making a move and towards.
it was really deep.
Is there a hole also behind that chimney where those big rocks are?
But kind of it seems like
I don't see this crack.
Turn to your starboard.
We're not going that fast, so I think we could probably just do a continuous move. But, I'm just conscious of the time with.
Keep turning.
Yeah, Bill, I understand your point, but I do believe that
So there's
for fairness to
actually,
everybody, I
if you
think
keep
we
turning to
should
your right, you'll see
sort of,
we jumped over
at
this.
least take the time to survey what's at each site to see if there's something truly unique. I know that you want to get to waypoint 6, and I think we all actually would because it's a really interesting feature that we don't know what it is. But I do want us to have the ability to stop at one of the other waypoints if there's something.
I believe you, though.
No,
I
as
saw
well
it
as
when
between
I guess we came
waypoints,
from.
you never know what we'll find when we traverse.
So I think
Different direction or
what would be great from our perspective would be that we try to make haste towards waypoint 6, but know that there might be a reason to stop. Does that sound reasonable to everyone?
Okay, I'll come back to keep contact with this guy.
Ship is pretty much
Sounds
pretty
reasonable
close to
me.
being done with its move.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, about halfway through.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say.
All I see are your
throw
lights.
out an opinion. This is Chris in Hawaii,
The cursor's right now
we didn't have the ship move anything particularly beautiful you saw.
See where that black smoker is right there at the base on the left?
Kind of center-ish.
Yeah,
center, yeah.
In that general direction, it looks like these rocks in that near ground go down like there may be
Bill already pointed
a
out that it had an unusually
hole
large number of animals
between
at
these
that
rocks
site.
and the chimney.
So I don't know. We're seeing
Like
a
a
fair amount of similar
volcanic
things
hole?
here on these
Oh, the hole
chimneys.
right here.
And then
Yeah.
the
I don't know
events
if I can
here,
quite-
so
if I
I would vote
overhang
for
it, I
trying to
don't know
go
how
by
close
them
I
as
can get.
quickly as possible and
See
get to
those
that unique
crabs off your
structure.
left of your lasers?
Yeah.
It just looks like it goes down there to me. And we may
Thank
be
you,
able
Chris.
to
That
see
was
it,
very helpful.
maybe able to position
I think what we're going to do
HD2 in
is
that to get a view of it.
ask
And
Nav
if
to
you
take us
rotate
to
back to your
waypoint
right,
4,
I
and
think I
as
can
we
see it better
start
with
approaching that, maybe another ship
HD1.
move, we will have them continue on to waypoint 5. But I do want to make it clear that I
can you
think
zoom
we
my sonar
have
way
the
in?
ability to stop if we see something
me a
interesting.
Distance.
Keep a watch on your left there, too.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we're still looking east at it from Sirius. So maybe part of the trick, if we want to get by these quickly, is to stay north of them
and round to the left.
and watch as we go by.
Yeah,
It's just hot water.
it looks like from this angle here and down to the left is where a large flow is coming up, which is
So watch
much
lead,
more
Nav.
open than the smaller pipes.
Go ahead, Nav.
Yeah.
Well, Vidya, if you want to zoom.
So is the conclusion
Here.
from the group that we want to get over to waypoint 4 as quick as possible? So,
Yes, please.
okay. And probably sort of touch and go.
Right, I've
So
started
maybe-
to
That's the
move.
plan right now.
Yeah,
That,
yeah,
But
okay.
I think we should
There's
also
a
say
lot of
with the caveat
gastropods.
that it
Yeah.
depends what's there.
Yeah, sure.
So they eat
Sure, okay.
a bacteria
So-
that lives
So
on
we'll,
this
we'll
fluid.
maybe
Is
what
that the
we'll ideally do is
general
just skirt
idea?
the north side of it, so we don't have to be shifting around a lot.
I think that would probably be good. And then, so I think the whole goal is that by before, what is it, 4:30?
And I'll pull back out and you can sort of look to your
Closer
left.
to 5, I hope.
Oh, closer to 5. Okay.
Whatever
so
else.
we want to make sure
Continue on
that
starboard too.
if we can,
Yeah.
we're going to try to make it to waypoint 6, which is that crater-like feature.
Right.
So yeah, so we'll want to try
Okay,
to
that's about
skirt,
as far
but
as I can go, Vidya.
Steve and I are both pretty convinced that we want to have that ability to
So
stop
we
if we
just
need to.
continue
Yep,
to move
yep,
to
yep,
the next
okay.
site.
Thanks.
Okay.
Good. So we need to go 50 meters bearing 096. So pilot, co-pilot, our instructions are to get over to waypoint 4 as expeditiously as possible. I assume we're not quite ready for an easterly move.
No, we're
Sirius is moving north right now.
yeah.
I think we're almost clear.
Okay.
And what's the delay in between ship moves and Sirius moves?
Must be on the order of 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
That sound right, pilot?
Yeah, I think so. But we were pretty cautious for the last one, and we still came within less than 18 meters from it somehow.
What about going up and over? We don't see the bottom, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I think you could settle around it.
Yeah.
Pretty comfortably. So
do
we
that
can,
first.
We can call in our next move, I think.
So you think we can go east?
Yeah.
I want to go 096 ideally, but maybe I'll go halfway at 080 or 070.
That's still where you're aimed, right?
Yeah. I mean, the flow is heading to my starboard.
Remember, it goes up another 30 feet or so.
Oh, the smoke just cleared.
That was funny. Yeah.
That's very strange.
Dun dun. Oh, I guess you're starting to sidle
yeah,
over.
no,
right?
I've been sidling over.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's going to be from something else. I don't know. Well, I'm out of the smoke. That's for sure. So yeah, if you look, my heading is 096 right now. So we just have to watch your tether.
We're trying to. We're heading for the big bowl now. Or no?
No, we're going to waypoint 4.
Yeah.
Your tether's way out to starboard. That's the only problem.
So here's more of these fingers.
No, you could stretch that out for him, but
Yeah, and he could come up a little bit.
By having this conversation, I'm trying to delay us 2 or 3 minutes so that it'll just happen anyway.
right.
Let's see what
We get it. We see through you.
Let's discuss it for 30 more seconds.
And then again.
I mean, if we call the move in now, we're not going to move for 10 minutes. So
yeah.
Well, that's my feeling. That's why I'm pushing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's definitely sidled over, so...
okay, so we're okay going east?
That squat lobster immediately to your lasers are awful high on the rock, and also to the bottom
Bridge
left,
nav.
the anemone that the scientists said they had not
I'd like to do a move, please. 50 meters, bearing 090.
All right, let's
Decimal
get...
2
I was
knots.
just signing up for these features, and then you can direct me down to that.
Okay, at your command.
All right, I'll try to hang out about
Perfect,
here,
thank you.
and you're free to zoom.
All right.
Thank you, Bridge.
So I think I can speak for all of us on this dive today that we are having a really fantastic time. We're getting to see novel environments.
Coming up to the top of this one.
We're seeing structures that no one's ever seen before. And whether you're a hydrothermal vent biologist or geologist, or whether this is not
cool.
your main focus for study, it's really fascinating to see.
Let me know when you want me to
these
move
areas.
on.
You can just sort of work your way down to the left.
Okay.
It's a nice shot right there.
Okay, I'll hold that.
It's got the white, got the smoker, got the yellow.
Yeah.
Sure side I have
Kevin, DVET.France says we're beginning our transit over to the next waypoint.
Yeah, I think
I thought I'd share with you another
ready to
story
move on?
that
Okay,
relates
video, if you
to
can go
the
wide.
biogeography that I was talking about earlier.
At least
And
Colin
that is
should
that
move.
I came out here
I
as
did.
a
Oh, you
graduate
did?
student
Oh, okay.
back in
How am I not
1987. We were
noticing
talking
this?
about
It's like
yesterday
I'm
how it was so
lacking
weird
in
that it was
Full wide.
exactly
That was
28 years.
Thanks for your...
today.
I think you've heard,
On
2 minutes ago.
yesterday's
you've
dive.
heard it so much, you
And
just
one of
zone
the
out.
reasons that I had been out here was because I was interested in studying amphipods.
I will
They're a
request that
kind of crustacean that
before
we
we
have
go
seen
past
when
this,
we've
that
been
you
seeing some
saddle
of the
the
corals,
port
but we
just to
haven't
pull
seen
your
any
tether
here
that way.
at the hydrothermal vent.
Actually, off the feature, you mean?
I was
Yeah.
interested in studying them because
Yeah.
I knew
So
that
we're
they
going
were
090,
very
is that
common
right?
and abundant in the eastern Pacific, at the East Pacific Rise and the Galapagos
We're
region.
going
One of the things I was
090?
interested in doing
Yes.
was studying
50 meters.
I'm
the
going to peek
ability
around
of
this
these
side, and then
animals
I'll
to
sidle
move
to
from
That should
one
take us
vent to
about
another.
20
So
meters
basically,
way off to the
you
bottom
can travel
left.
across long distances.
The next
And what
waypoint.
was fascinating and coming out here is there were
Doesn't look like it's
no
there. Turn the ship again.
amphipods. We saw no amphipods, collected no amphipods
Bridge
on our
nav.
cruise. I think there have been some amphipods
looks dead down
described
there.
since that
Yeah,
time.
what's our
on
current
the
ship
map,
heading?
but not in the major group, the lysine acids that are the
Good.
scavengers
You haven't
that are
shifted it
so
recently, have
common
you?
and abundant in the eastern Pacific.
Okay.
And so it's just
Could you
another
please make a
example of
point?
this
It's
interesting twist to the
particularly important
biogeographic
today to
story
know
and the
when you shift
evolution of
heading
these animals.
on the ship. Not really so much for the vehicles themselves, but because it changes our errors relative to the data we're working on.
Okay.
Could everybody kill your mics momentarily, please?
Okay. I don't think it got noted down here the last time you did it.
On the XRV.
But that's fine. Just please make a point of letting us know.
Loading back.
Want to get this video?
That would be great to just keep it here the rest of the dive as we possibly can.
Focusing on it.
It's got some
Thank you.
movement, but
It's very close to you.
yeah.
What is that?
Minimum focus right now.
Okay, coming up. Back.
Zooming out. Focus is going away.
Yep.
Zooming in.
I guess the question is, what is it, and is it supposed to be floating?
There's a lot of current here.
Focus is near far end.
Oh, it's too close to me?
No, it's too
Oh,
far
it's
away
so,
from you.
it's so small, yeah. Okay, you can
Yeah.
go wide.
So I turned slightly just
Okay.
to follow your tether.
Okay. All right, so
Sorry.
that's fine. So
Well, I
I'll
guess
start
the floating
sidling to
thing
port
will
then.
remain a
I'll
mystery.
require the bottom.
Right, I'm
And
gonna
we'll get
There
turn
was
my
one
heading to
suggestion of a dislodged
090.
barnacle knocked
we'll
off,
get lined up.
knocked out of its shell. So it may have been a dead barnacle floating around.
So we're approaching halfway through this move
But then I was going,
with the ship.
how could it be
Gonna come down a little bit.
Sounds good.
Just get your
Yeah,
tether
probably
in
because
view.
we knocked it off is the answer, evidently.
And yeah, starting to get centered here. Coming down, altitude 9.
I see stuff to the right of you in Sirius's view.
So any guesses on what we might find at waypoint 4, now that we've had such a fantastic waypoints 1 through 3?
So, yeah, if you're pretty close to the heading, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep an eye on your tether.
Okay.
Well,
Altitude
4
8.
is another chimney that shows up
bottom.
in the century bathymetry, so
Good amount of smoke here, though.
it's probably sizable.
Tether looks
but not as big
very
as
good.
the first one.
Okay, I'll continue down.
So probably
I still have
similar
8 meters to
these
go to the
other
bottom.
ones, I guess. And I think I looked at all these photos this afternoon,
There
but
we go.
they're already blurring together in my mind. I don't remember too much about
Can you
waypoint
get my
5,
sonar
but
back out to
there's
30
another
or so?
sort of concentrated area of where you can see a
So
lot of
it's
squat
30.
lopsters
Okay.
and
You got a hit to your
anemones.
port.
Those are the ones that really
Yeah.
show up in
No,
the
that's just
in
the
the
slope.
century
It's the
photos.
ground, yeah.
And over at the cone, well, same thing. I mean, that's
So it looks
those are the animals that are the easiest
Not a
to
lot of
pick out
thermal activity here,
from
but a
those
lot of
photos.
smoke.
Over at the
Kind of
cone
hard
at
to see.
waypoint 6, they were just sort of covering the whole extent of the cone, inside and out. And so it's such a big feature. It's about 50 meters across and kind of unusual in shape. And I just wonder if there's diffused
Do you
venting
mind coming
coming out
down
of
a
the
little?
whole thing,
Yeah, I'm
or,
just gonna-
More tether.
because there's
Altitude
in the
20,
photos,
delta
there
20.
were,
So I'm going to come down.
the animals were pretty dense.
Should
on the
be flat.
seafloor. So, I don't know. It's curious.
Now that we're set up, I'll start doing some surveys here.
Thanks,
Don't
Bill.
come too
One of the
far
things that I'm
starboard
looking
just yet.
for is
I'm
we're
right
doing
next
the
to that.
transit between the
I haven't
different
gone past it yet.
waypoints is to see
Yeah, I wouldn't go
if
past
there are
center.
any
That's not my
corals like
fault.
we've
I
been
want you to
seeing
fly
on
your
all the
tether over
dives
there.
prior
Gotcha.
to these hydrothermal vent focus dives. And when we
That's a
were
dead one.
here back in 1987, I'm certain that I saw bamboo corals. In fact, going over the photos later after the dives, we see these bamboo corals. And it's kind of funny in my position now where the last decade and a half I've been focusing on deep sea corals. At that time, I had no idea what I was seeing. And so I find it really fascinating to sort of come to sort of full circle back to where I
little
first
spires
moved to
all
DC,
around.
and I have a different kind of perspective than
pretty cool.
the last time I was here. But so far, I haven't seen
I don't
any
think
corals.
there's a dull area in this whole place.
So what we're seeing right in front of us is a small extinct chimney, and there were actually small chinlets behind it, so there were just little tiny...
Small fish to the left, immediately under lasers.
Kind of big sort of flat pillows right now. Some of them are quite well formed, actually.
I see him.
And it looks like there might be another
I
block
get a
of
zoom from
sulfide.
here.
You think these are low bait? Yeah. Some are pillow on the right, though. It
Two
seems
fish.
like the ones on the right were closer to being a pillow shape, and the ones on the left are more low bait. Does that seem right?
Kind of at the end of my tether, I'll creep a little
Yeah,
closer.
I'm sure it's a mixture.
Yeah.
So I'm
And
going
we've
to
got a
deploy
couple
your
of fish hanging out here.
starboard swing arm.
So we should be only 30 meters or so
Are those still
from
spot lobsters? What are those?
the waypoint. 30.
Oh, so we
Maybe
have
40.
we still see crabs and lobsters.
I
We
have
a
a
couple of fish.
I have a suspicion that we were just at that waypoint.
Oh, at
Not
waypoint
sure.
4?
Yeah.
Well, I came to the conclusion, if the first one was waypoint 1, the bearing and distance from waypoint 1 to waypoint 3 totally matched where we just were.
Rocks, the white stuff.
From
around
the ship had moved the same bearing and distance from our first
Is that
work
max
to our
time,
to
Carlos?
but that waypoint is what you would get working off
coming right.
the old data. So it just seemed like it fell into place too
I'm not
neatly
sure
not
if you
to
see,
not
but
to have been
it looked
waypoint
like there
3.
were little corals or polypy things growing on some of the...
So,
Yeah, just to the
and
left of the
that
screen, growing
corresponded
on
to
the-
a pretty
on the
significant
rocks, just
reduction in our offset, which also seems like if the offset had gone way bigger, I'd be more skeptical.
Yeah,
Thank you,
look
Bridge.
guys.
Move is complete.
These little cone-shaped things.
Yeah, you want me to pull out so you can see him maybe set for
So
one?
scientists
Yeah,
aren't
let's see
sure.
if there's
Do
any
we
below
think
me.
these
This
are
is
little
very far away.
hydroids?
Oh, I
okay,
know.
we're zooming out.
I was just going. We'll look
That's it,
down
we're
here.
zooming out. No
I
time.
recall when we were here when I was here,
Trying to get closer, watch lead.
Co-pilot, can we go farther out on Sirius?
Anemones.
Oh, is that what they are? Tiny, tiny anemones?
Yeah, I think
That's 100 meters.
Okay.
I think what we saw was that there were lots and lots of these tiny anemones in the periphery leading up towards the vent, and then those larger anemones became more common, and then the more typical vent fauna. We went to a place that we called Anemone Heaven.
You can zoom.
And it just had thousands and thousands, just like we're seeing here.
We should be within 80
really
meters
tiny
of it.
anemones. And I don't know that they were ever described, actually.
I think we see it the best at the top. I'm seeing some flow in this area.
Yeah, but it was actually, if you could go up to the top of this,
up.
yeah, that was easier
Oh,
to
beautiful.
see.
Oh, cool. What are those?
So those are, what are they?
So, Bob or Bill or somebody was just saying that these are tiny little anemones that form sort of carpets. Was that Scott? I don't know. Sorry, I'm like losing track of those.
We need to tilt straight down in order to get the stuff about the flow.
But I could be wrong.
Sorry, Scott, if that was Scott. Yeah, so these look like, I'm not sure
About
what anemones
these
are.
guys.
Sorry, Scott.
They actually look like, they look like zoanthids now. See, I was ignorant of cnidarians when I was here 20 years ago.
Down a little further.
Those look like zoanthids.
I'm all the way down.
Well, they are very cool looking. And they're tiny. Tiny.
Yeah, Les agrees and Tina agrees, zoanthids. And they are just tiny, like little carpets covering the pillows.
Wanted me to tilt up a little and get the ones on the face of this
It really
rock over
makes
here.
more sense that in these really extreme densities, these would be zoanthids
Did I
as
hear
opposed
correctly that we may have already been at waypoint 4 and that...
That was hypothesized here. I hope I quashed it.
Okay, all right, good.
You quashed it.
You can just keep tilting.
Just wanted to know the quashing happened.
See there's more flow coming from above.
Yeah.
But we should see waypoint 4 on sonar if it's much of a signal, and I'm not seeing
What
it.
do we see on Sirius right now? I mean, I see the pillows, but is there something beyond them?
The left one is the ROV T2. The right one is Sirius.
Right, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you look at that one,
We're
see
seeing
the pillows, and then what's behind the pillows? It's sort of coming into view right now. Is it just
Oh,
more
in the
pillows?
camera?
You mean just a little bit to the left? That's. Are you looking on the video? The sonar.
Oh, it's just those little, it's these pillows that have like staining along the fractures.
Okay, I'm going to push out ahead to try to see where we're going, co-pilot.
Yep.
Something white
That
on
was
the
what I was
left of the main
Okay.
HD.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the sonars mainly, because we should be.
Yep. What's that?
There's something in my sonar right here.
Something in the deep sea. What is it?
If it's there, then our.
Whoa. That was bright.
There's this.
I'm just trying to bring out the best image.
What we're looking for should be
There's some
to your right,
wavy
like 90
lava
degrees
to
to
the
your
bottom right.
and still a ways off.
Should be where enough?
It should be southeast of you by. If our offsets are consistent, maybe 30 meters.
Got quite a bit of
But I'm not seeing anything on the Sirius
reflective
nav.
backwater in this area.
Sirius sonar.
The light's not going very far.
Got plenty of leash here. I'm down pretty
All
low.
right, so we think southeast. My sonar's set to 30. We could bump it out to 40 maybe, and
But
go
is your
hunting.
sonar set to stun? Oh, sorry. I was joking. I was just joking.
Maybe do a little camera tilt down out of the lights.
how's that?
Better.
I don't know. There's nothing jumping out at me.
Yep.
All right, so we're just traversing here on the seafloor, and sadly enough, there's no.
So did you
right
drop
in
a
view
target
right
at
now.
the last spire we were on?
But it definitely still looks
Yes.
like we see.
It was. It's hard to see under all the squiggles, but it was maybe 7 meters southeast of where it should be on the map. So our offset was way down.
Same thing,
Yeah.
Patty, just so we could see some sonar. Thanks.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
they already.
okay.
I think they just put the feedback on camera 3 with the quad screen.
Back to that.
Can you see it?
It's not it.
Yep.
Okay.
So if
Not quite yet.
theoretically,
I think I'm a few seconds behind here.
That's
how
Yeah, I
far
think
have
you're
we
a little
moved
further behind.
from that spire to the ROV now?
That spire to the ROV.
The other one we were just on.
And we will try to
55 meters.
see if we can do some zooms on anything that looks like it might be bacterial mat if we see any more right now.
55 meters, just basically east.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering